Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Spirit Sessions of View of the Light. I'm
We
glad
lost
that
Anne.
she'll be back. Come back in, Anne. Welcome to Spirit Sessions of View of the Light. We're here from halfway across the world. So Anne Solomondes Johansson is here from the Faroe Islands as our
Wow.
guest co-host. Teresa is here from Tennessee. Brian, our special guest, is here from Vancouver, Canada, and I'm here from Eastern Ontario, Canada. And we're here to welcome you to Spirit Sessions of View of the Light. Please share this out. Let your friends
I can't
know.
hear a thing.
Are we all muted? Anyways, we'll have to figure that one out.
I can hear you.
So Teresa will have to get that sorted out, but give us a second, Teresa. And so please share this out. And we're on the Breakthrough Show Network as well. So let us know when you come in, comment so we see you here, because people who share it out and comment are the ones we picked for winters. And now we've got our technical issues all figured out. So Teresa,
I had YouTube on.
that always screws everything up. So Teresa is smudging us with what today? Teresa, are you smudging us
Today,
with?
in honor of the Sasquatch clan and the nations and people, I have, instead of sage, I have pine because
Oh,
they're associated with trees and the relationship with trees and nature and stuff. So I thought, it's kind of falling all over. But anyhow, here's pine to smudge us all with, and it's a good antiviral and all that stuff. So, woohoo!
awesome.
So
Awesome.
I didn't get to hear any of that beautiful intro except like I heard it like 4 times all over each other. So I missed what you said, but
So please introduce our guest, Brian.
okay, thank you. So Brian has been, my God, to me a very exciting guest because he's turned me on to parts of me that I didn't know that I didn't know that I could have a relationship with the Sasquatch people. I didn't know that I was having contact like a bunch of years ago and stuff. So Brian has the greatest stories in the world. He has this unique relationship with them, with a whole clan of them, and I've seen into his past lives, which I won't really reveal to y'all, except it has to do with more of the same. But
Hey, wait a
anyways,
minute.
yes,
You never told me about that.
I did. No, we had readings about that. Do you want me to tell you now?
Well, do we have time?
I'll make it super fast. Brian, you are a massive, amazing healer, and you were among the ancient ones who were from space. Like some of the Sasquatch nations have the abilities to be into space and stuff. I don't know about Ari and his clan, but
Yeah.
way in the distant past, you were an amazing healer, and it was prophesied that you would be back on the earth again at this specific time, like that we're in right now. And what you do, besides having contact with Ari and his family and being like a speaker to tell us about, these, you also, as you walk, you heal the land that's ready to be healed in certain ways, just because you're walking by and noticing things like you do. So anyway, that's it. So, so welcome to the show, Brian.
I do actually recall you saying that now. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so you told me that you had these amazing messages that came through. Can you tell us about how these messages came to you? These core messages?
Well, I think that, first of all, I think that the Sasquatch people mirror us. So some of the stuff is personal and it doesn't apply to everybody because they know, about our soul growth or whatever. So we have to have free will with that, right? So if somebody, right? So they don't really judge us according to pretty well anything we do because we have to make our own mistakes, our own, and I wouldn't say mistakes, but it's free will so that we can grow soul wise, right? But I do think that there are some core truths that I think are across the board, at least for me, and I'm getting lit up again because they like me talking about that. And how how I initially got introduced to those is through something I call the Love Zap,
Oh, yeah.
where I was just walking in the woods and there was a female, and it's just annoying. A lot of the stuff with them, it's just a knowing. You just know, and you don't get the details why you know, but it's just like it's concrete. It's a knowing.
Yeah.
And so I knew that she was in the woods, and she hit me up with this Love Zap, I called it, and it was an energy, because they're all about energy. They're energy beings like we are, except they have a more evolved understanding of it. And I instantly knew I was an eternal being that had lived, forever, kind of thing, and that we were all one and all connected. There was no judgment. It was a beautiful state of love. I was actually weeping. It was so beautiful. Just so many different things, but basically it was the beginning of my understanding of the core truths. I kind of got it all at once with that zap, except it takes time to unpackage things, even though you have the knowing, you have to kind of work your way through it so you understand it a little better, kind of thing. Wow. So that was the core truths, which basically are one other thing about it was too, and it's very important, is we humans put ourselves on a pedestal. We're all connected. We can't judge ourselves as better than anything. We always it's just a dog, or it's just this, or it's just that. That's not right. We're all connected and all one. So I also had that understanding too, right?
Definitely.
And some other stuff, but anyway, so the core truths are basically love is the most strongest force in the universe, right? Everything is built from the foundation of love. We're all one and all connected, like I said.
Is that number 2?
What's that?
Is that we're all one? I'm taking notes over here. So number 2 is that we're all connected. Is that number 2, or is that a part of number 1?
Well,
sorry,
I don't know if they have to be numbered. I'm just mentioning them.
I'll just put
no judgment, because judgment is the thing that keeps us in a lower vibration. As soon as you start judging people, your vibration plummets, right? We have to learn to raise our vibration. That's the secret to our transition, or the conscious shift, or whatever people are talking about. So no judgment, no fear, which when I had that experience, my fear was taken away, because you can't fear anything after that. And no fear, no judgment. Oh, and all one and all connected. And there was another one too. What was it? All one, all connected. Love is the foundation. No fear, no judgment. Oh, and no division.
Nice. Oh,
like these days, like everybody's trying to say, well, I'm a black man and you're a white man, you're a Christian, you're a Muslim.
You're a vaxxer, you're an anti-vaxxer. All this bullshit.
Yeah, all these things are all by design, by people who want to keep us in the dark, to make us think that we're divided. So everything is about division.
I understand that.
The news, the propaganda, everything is all about division, and there is no division. We have to realize that, and when you realize that, and you come from a heartfelt base instead of from your head, or from the things that we've learned from children, like, you see, children are brought into the earth innocent or whatever. They love everybody and they don't judge, and they don't have any of the things that we're taught as we grow up, that are actually diametrically opposed to who we truly are. And so we have to get back to that innocence and that love, and when we do that, and enough people do that, that's when we're going to transcend. That's when the conscious shift is going to happen. So it's not like magical, like some people might think. It's just actually just changing our heart and changing the things that we've been taught,
Yes, right on.
So on the spot. So powerful with words.
Yeah, and that's that. I'm getting hit up. Oh, get up with energy. That's what the Sasquatch have taught me. And that really is, I have no doubt. I'm 100% sure. I feel it in every fiber of my being. That's the answer to how we can get out of this quagmire the human race is in, you know, like that's how we can have this transition shift or whatever people call it. That's what it's all about.
I feel this huge heart chakra energy is just, it feels like it's opening up. It's beautiful.
For you or for?
It feels like it's opening up. It's sending out to the people that are watching.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's as simple as like, I've had some, you know, like this Sasquatch are masterful teachers, and they're very direct, and it's like a hammer over the head when they teach you stuff. They're very thorough. Like, for instance, I was driving down the street and I get all these visions and downloads quite often when I'm driving. And I'm driving down the street and I'm in a really, really high vibration. And all of a sudden I started thinking about this guy that I, you know, perceived screwed me over or whatever, or I had problems with. And my vibration just plummeted. And I was in that judgment stage again, right? Like, this, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, but it was by design that this happened, because there was a lesson in it. I instantly said, wait a minute, I'm going to turn that off right away. So I turned it off and I went into my heart, got it out of my head. I said, I'm not listening to this little guy on my shoulder or whatever you want to call it anymore. And my vibration went right up. And that was a practical lesson as to how we can do it, right?
How easy.
You know, it's simple as maybe if you're walking down the street, say, oh, I don't like the way that girl looks, or I don't like this or that or whatever. Try saying something like, I like her eyes, or think of something positive. And that sounds pretty rudimentary, but really it's our thoughts, whatever, that take our vibrations down.
Yes.
And that's what we have to get out of that cycle. I mean, that's how we're controlled by the few. The many are controlled by the few from fear. The fact that we've been taught to judge, and that stuff, right? So it's really not that hard to turn it around. It's just you have to realize it, right?
Yeah, and Lisa says, yes, our thoughts create our reality, and that is so true. I often say that two people can witness something and see two different things completely different, you know, even if it's like a spider. Somebody can see the miracle of this creature. Other people can be in fear and go, ooh, that's so ugly. But so when you experienced these, now did the Sasquatch sort of communicate these through telepathy, or have they been just using like sending feelings out to you? How was that?
How did I?
How did you realize all this from the Sasquatch? And how did it kind of? I know you've had contact for how many years now with them?
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years.
Well, a lot of it, like I said, was downloads and just an instant knowing.
Okay.
Some of it is like from practical examples, like I'll be walking along the forest path or whatever, and this is something that a form of telepathy I call thought placement, and they use it for lessons. And I'll say, geez, I wonder if it's like this. I'll have a thought come in my head. I wonder if this is, you know, like this. And then all of a sudden the answer will be right before my eyes on the forest path. Like as soon as I have the thought.
And sort of have a validation of it.
100%, yeah. You know, mind speak through glyphs. They'll leave me messages through their stick writing, which is little stick writing on the forest floor, and it can also have rocks or ferns or different things. Sticks are the most common thing, though, but there's a variety of ways that they've taught me.
So the glyphs are sort of like a communication through like pictures that they make out of like sticks, like you said, like RE makes his name, like his A for RE, and that's him letting you know he's there. Things that couldn't occur naturally, that look like they've been manipulated into like symbols or pictures, right?
100% they're not natural. Plus, I found them all over everywhere I go. You know, even they leave them right by my car door and whatever sometimes in a whole different country, you know, and the same symbols, and there's no other sticks or anything else in the parking lot or wherever I am. So it's 110% sure. I mean, I don't doubt that, but yeah, but it's more like a written language, but it also can be pictures. They can also draw what they see you doing. But there's quite often a message in there too. You know, they'll draw a picture of what they see you doing, but they'll also leave some symbols that have a message that goes along with that picture.
So do you feel you've seen Sasquatch with your real eyes, not just with your third eye as well, right? You've seen them actually in physical form. You've taken some pictures. And like I said, if people want to go and see those pictures, they can go to the information that's in this video and go to his actual website. And you have pictures on your website, and you have long videos of what you've actually seen, and you photograph your glyphs. So and you have explanations for them, because we could do a whole show on your glyphs because you have such a library of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to clarify something. People are still, I tell people all the time, and they still ask me, what do the glyphs mean? I can't tell you what they mean.
It's personal.
It's personal between you. It's personal between you and them. And as a matter of fact, you know, our existence is in linear time, right?
Yeah.
3D linear time.
Yeah.
The Sasquatch, when you pass over like an NDEs or whatever, for instance, there is no time. The past, the present, and the future are all in the now. That's how the Sasquatch operate too. So literally with these glyph messages, and that's one of the reasons why I document them, because, you know, I can show other people and teach other people with them and give them the possibility of connecting with them too, which has happened. But the thing is I'll look back on some of my glyph pictures that were taken 5 or 6 years ago, and at the time I took them, I didn't know what certain things meant. But then when I look at them, when I'm putting a video or something together, I'll look at them and say, oh my God, they already knew what I was going to come up, the meaning I was going to come up with years and years before I actually even formulated the thought. And it's absolutely no question about it. So that's a masterful teaching technique, because they don't have the restraints of linear time. They can start teaching me things that I can look back on and realize they already knew, you know, so.
How cool is
So,
that?
so they're interdimensional creatures as well as here, solid and real. Is that they kind of walk through doorways into our world and walk back out through our world? Is that the way?
Well, they're terrestrial in many ways, but yeah, they have all those abilities. Yes.
Will they ever
Let me
show themselves fully to us? You know, just walk around on an everyday basis, like you and I.
I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen them like where I'm looking straight ahead on a forest path, and I don't see anything, and then all of a sudden, 3/4 of the way across the path, they fully materialize.
But not everyone can see them, so they're selecting a few people.
Well, they're interested in people that they can work with, people with open hearts, people who they can teach, people who are open to it. That's why, and this isn't a judgment, because there is no judgment, even though we all judge, even I do. I shouldn't say even I do. It's not like, but you know, it's hard to stop judging. But you know, when you're aware of it, you judge less and less and less. But you know, for instance, some of the big time, you know, and the big name investigators and the guys who are looking for a monster in the woods and they want to shoot them and, you know, get the money shot or whatever, they don't show them much.
They're ego driven, right?
Yeah, they don't show them much because they can't work with them. They're not interested in that. That's why you see some of these guys will talk at a conference, and then you see them 10 years down the road and they're still saying, you know, I found a footprint or something. And that's basically all they, you know, they're not evolving because they're not teaching them.
So how do they want to work with the heart-centered people of Earth?
Well, like I said, like with the core truths or whatever, it is the way they work with me. I mean, that literally I know is the key to us turning ourselves around. So they'll work with us in whatever way is best for the individual. If you're a hands-on person, yeah, on a personal level, yeah, it's all different. I've never seen anybody with a relationship like mine, and that's not better or worse, but they're all individual relationships. And they'll work with us according to our strengths, right?
Very interesting.
There's very many similarities and crossovers, and some of the same experiences happen to a lot of people, but it also depends on how you interpret them, right? Like I think Rhonda was saying, people can interpret the same thing in entirely different ways, right?
Yeah.
Sort of like oracle cards.
Yeah. But let me give you an example. This is a perfect example. Yes. And I wish I had a picture, but maybe, like I said, if you want to see some of these things, go to my YouTube channel or Facebook page. But for instance, they drew a picture of my wife and I in a tent. Made an actual picture. They drew the tent. They drew there was 2 little sticks in the tent that represented her and I. A big stick outside the tent of the individual that was watching us, and we heard him breathing in the bush. We knew he was there. And they left a friendship welcome X on the roof, which is it's an X. It's a common symbol, which just means friendship and welcome, basically, for me. But there was a stick off at an 11 o'clock angle on the roof that I did not know what it meant at the time. And I was thinking, wonder what that means. So many years later, I came up with the man Sasquatch connected meaning, which is the Y stick, right?
Right.
So one prong is man, one prong is Sasquatch, and the shaft is connected. And I look back on that tent cliff, and there was the Y. That was the one at the 11 o'clock angle. It was a Y. And so it was so perfect for the message. He drew what he saw us doing. I'm getting hit up with energy. I like that. I saw they actually drew what he observed us doing, the Sasquatch individual, whose name was Fortuna. He had the friendship welcome on the X, which is a standard kind of greeting from them. And then the Y. So that means man, Sasquatch connected. We're connected to you, kind of thing. Friendship. So it was perfect. It was perfect for the message. And that's kind of how it works when you look back at them. That's why I know, right? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it when I snapped the picture and what had happened. It was years and years later I realized what they were saying with that.
I was actually watching your last show, and you shared some pictures, and I remember seeing that there was a stick that was formed in a Y. It takes me back to that, and there was a stone in the middle. Is that like kind of what you're saying?
It was leaned up against a tree?
Yeah.
That actually, the day I came up with the meaning for the Y stick, it's just an agreement between you and them.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Sasquatch connected. So I came up with that meaning the day before. The next day is when I saw that Y stick. I was led, because they'll lead you places if they want you to see something. They led me to where that Y stick was, leaned up against a tree. That was confirmation. And the stick and the stone in the middle just represents the individual who left it.
Okay.
So, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just getting. I don't know if this resonates. Take it if you resonate or not. But I was getting that stone was like the heart of both of you coming together.
Oh.
Well, you know what? Guess what? You're not wrong, because it's all individual. If that's what you're getting from it, then that's right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Sherry Bernice says she's heard them scream, and that'll make the hair stand up on the back of your neck. She's heard them personally.
Yeah,
so.
It sounds pretty scary, but they're not monsters. But they've got a greeting growl that sounds like something too, and it sounds scary, but it's not really. Their intention isn't scary.
Right on.
But yeah, I've heard that scream, and it is kind of hair-raising, to say the least.
I was actually seeing a cartoon. I can't remember what it's called, but it was about a Sasquatch, and the Sasquatch could talk, but the people couldn't hear what the Sasquatch was saying. They was just hearing rah. So kind of the similar way, perhaps. I know this is a cartoon, but it takes me back to that.
Oh, I've heard them talking before. They do kind of sound like that's an imitation.
I love that.
But they can also say English words or whatever if they want. And when they talk to you telepathically, it's just like they'll just say, "Go to the green tank" or something, which is one message I got. They'll talk to you in English.
Yeah.
It's just their own language. They have a written language and a spoken language.
Mm.
Remember, they're on a different vibration too, so it would sound different to us anyway. And I think when people who can meet them and be introduced to them, that's why if you raise your vibration, you have an easier chance of meeting them, because they're here and you're kind of meeting them, right?
Right.
Middle
That
kind
makes
of
sense.
thing. Yeah.
So what do you do to raise your vibration before you meet with Ari or something?
Well, they kind of just did it just from the teachings and from the downloads and from energy and all that stuff. But I mean, it's not like I still fall back into my old habits at times, but not as far back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's growing and whatever. But if you want to meet them, don't go out in the woods and talk about negativity or politics or things going on in the world today, or I hate this person or whatever, because they're not going to come around.
Right.
I know that because I've hosted campouts where we're all talking and the conversation slips into some of the current things going on in the world today, and they don't even come around at all. We start singing and laughing and talking about them and their abilities and stuff. Then you hear the knocks and you feel their energy, and the ravens will come by and start calling just as you're making a point or whatever kind of thing, because they utilize the birds and animals too. As a matter of fact, they can shapeshift into them. So
It sounds a bit like doing CE5. You have to be heart-centered and putting out all this positive energy before you can contact ETs. So they won't come around if they're negative. So you do really heart-centered meditations.
it's exactly the same. And the Sasquatch have been actually seen on craft and whatever.
Yeah.
So they're all pulling the rope the same way. The higher vibrational beings. So it is the same thing.
That's very cool. Very cool.
Oh, I just saw a comment.
Oh, yeah. This conversation is making her body tingling and full, her heart full. Thank you for bringing Brian on your show.
I wonder if that's a common thing for her, or if maybe it's the Sasquatch are reaching out to her. That's what I feel too.
Are they located in a specific location or all over the world? Asks Lisa.
They're all over the world, but there's a whole lot of them in BC, Canada.
Now, Anne says, Anne was saying she didn't think they were on the Faroe Islands, but she has her own crypto.
Oh, really?
Oh, cryptarchids. What do they call them? Sorry, my brain just went. Cryptics.
I don't know what you're talking about, Rhonda.
Well, you have your own creatures or different animals that are, or people or animals of myth and magic on your own island.
There is a statue of a merman here in one of the towns, and there's amazing energy in that town. So.
Oh wow! How neat is that?
Do you connect with any of them, man?
Merman?
Well, not mermen, so necessarily. Do you connect with any kind of what do they call them?
Star beings, cryptorchids, or
I can't remember the word now, but any kind of entities like Sasquatch or elves or no? Oh, you do?
Yeah, mermaids, angels, guides, and some trolls.
Yeah, but why don't you put your energy out towards the Sasquatch and just say, "Are you here?" Because
Yeah,
they
I
can,
can do that.
even if they're not there, they can show up there. They can show up anywhere they want. It's just a thought.
Mhm.
They can, you know, their energy. They have a highly evolved understanding of energy, so they can put their energy into any form they want, or they can go anywhere they want just with a thought.
That's so
I
cool.
mean, like I said, they've appeared in my room out of a cloud of smoke.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
They're
Ari
amazing.
actually did, and he just kind of looked at me for a while, then he just dissipated.
That would be.
I was just, and you know, it's because I know them, and even when things were first started happening, I wasn't scared because just under the subconscious, I had a connection with them and I knew them, so none of this stuff ever freaked me out. It was just like, oh, that's cool, but it was dramatic, you know. Imagine a Sasquatch appearing in your room out of a mist.
I know.
How tall are they?
RE's 12 and a half feet tall.
How's that? How much is that in meters?
4 meters.
I don't.
Oh
4
wow.
meters. I'm bilingual in imperial and metric because I came up with that age.
Rhonda, when I was in school, even though we do like Fahrenheit and Celsius, whatever, when I was in school, it was all like 90 degrees, a foot, 12 inches.
Yeah.
And I still understand that better.
They just changed it around when my years came along. So yeah, so I'm bilingual in it. Kathy was saying she's been told there are. Kathy, what area are you from? I've been told the Sasquatch and fairies in my area want to work with me. I'm trying to build that relationship. So
Trust.
Okay, well, I would suggest go out into the woods initially. Although you don't really have to, but it's always nice when you're in nature because your vibration naturally rises when you're in nature, and just say, "Hi, I'm Kathy. I am open to meeting you." Don't have an agenda. Don't be looking at pictures of them or whatever. Like I take a lot of pictures because of my work I do with them, I have pictures of them, but they show up of their own free will. I don't purposely try to take
they
pictures.
show up like orbs, don't they, in your pictures a lot of times? Like you'll be taking a picture and then when you look at the picture later, you see them. You don't see them necessarily with your two eyes, but they're captured on your film, right? Is that kind of sometimes what happens?
Yeah, it's not always orbs. You can see their shape and whatever too.
No, I meant, yeah, they appear, but you wouldn't have seen them with your eyes, but you've been sort of guided to take that picture, and then you see them in the picture.
Yeah, I look back at them and I say, oh, there they are.
Yeah,
that's happened a lot of times. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, just go out with an open heart and just say, I'm open to meeting you. I want to learn from you. Don't have any agenda. Just do it from a heart-based point of view, and it's really as simple as that. I mean, that's the best advice I can give. Just approach them with your heart.
And you told me that to leave my own glyph of friendship out for them. I did that, but that was a few years ago, so it's probably time to update. But maybe Kathy could do that.
Yeah, like they all have the ones I know have their own personal signatures. Like A is for RE, and H is for his daughter Rajase, and there's 4 is for Fortuna, and then little Bud, my little buddy that I play with, he's got an open triangle. But the thing is that it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's just the intent. You just make whatever you feel you want to make. Maybe with peel sticks is good, and then just say, this is me, and put that intention out there, and then see if they start playing with it. Because I know, probably 3 or 4 or 5 people I've said that to that actually have had that happen, where they'll start playing with them. And actually with me, sometimes I'll make because I understand some of their language, I'll make a kind of a complex one. I'll go back and they'll change it, and then I'll go back and change it. They'll change it. It's like communication back and forth, right?
So Kathy was saying she lives near a beautiful forest preserve, and she's been working with the trees. And that reminds me, do they sometimes come out of the trees or pretend they're trees or shapeshift into trees? I've heard that. Now, is that?
Yeah. I saw one not too long ago that I thought was a stump. Then I kept saying this head bobbing up and down, and And then I looked away, and then I looked back, and it was gone. Initially, I just thought it was a stump.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, they can be very tricky, and they can shapeshift into anything. Yeah, they can even walk into trees and stuff.
I
Very
have a
cool.
question. Okay, Rhonda taught me how to do Reiki and helped me get to level 2. Now, in the meantime, when you play around with it and you work Reiki on yourself, I had a team come in, and the first of my team that came in were Sasquatch and dolphins and mermaids. All of these things came in, but the first was Sasquatch. And when I'm sending healing or something, and they're the ones that come forward to heal that day, it's like they're holding something in their hand with so much love and sending so much love to the person as if that person was right there. Have you ever experienced any kind of healing with them? That's what I really
Yeah,
wanted to
I had a near heart attack. I probably wouldn't have made it, but they were there with me. They were in the operating room, and they were in the hospital. They showed me because they took my ring off my finger and hit it, and then in an obvious place, and myself and the nurse looked for it for quite a long time, and then I found it exactly where we were looking, like in it. So that sounds stupid, but it's I can't really explain it.
It's still valid.
Anyway, yeah, but they were with me, yeah, and they actually are healers.
Yeah.
I witnessed them healing at some of the campouts I've given. They healed me. They can do all kinds of healing, and they do it with energy.
So are you having a new camp? So getting like, where can people find you? And are you having a camp out soon, or has that passed, or when's your next one? And
Oh,
is everyone invited?
My next one is September 10th to 15th. If you got an open heart or whatever, and you contact me, you're invited. Actually, I don't invite the people. Sasquatch do. They'll let me know if they want you there. They'll let me know with energy, right? And I don't charge anything. I pay for everything other than your food, because I'm not into making money from them. Because my reward is just what they, the knowing and the heart vibration raising, whatever. They've done so much for me that I couldn't imagine charging anybody anything except for the book I just finished writing.
Oh, cool. Tell us about that.
I'm just gonna, I have to charge a little bit for that, but
Sure.
It's actually not even in print yet. It's just being in the stage of being printed. And it'll be ready in about maybe 3 weeks or so. And it's called A Sasquatch Story. My Life with the Clan of RE.
Very cool. Is it going to be published like through Amazon or Kindle or
self-published, awesome. Kindle, all that stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's almost 400 pages, and it's got a lot of pictures and stuff in it.
Very cool.
And it goes
so
into.
I don't know if it cuts out where you guys are, but I didn't get the name of the book.
What's the name of the book? And I'll write it out.
A Sasquatch Story. My Life with the Clan of RE. And I'm very opposed to, I don't like to profit off them at all, but I put in about 6 or 7 years writing this book. So,
well, everything's an exchange of energy, and that's okay. A Sasquatch Story, the Clan of RE.
My Life with the Clan of RE.
Okay.
But I've probably got 550 videos on YouTube. They're all free.
Subscribe and like this page.
My Facebook channel, Pork and Bean Show, where I do my show. It's all free. I mean, I like to, and you know what? I probably give a bunch of those books away because money doesn't, it's not all that to me.
Where are you located?
I'm located in British Columbia, about 50 miles east of Vancouver.
So you're near the woods in Vancouver. You're near the forest, and your campouts in that area too, right?
Oh yeah.
You fly into Vancouver, you get a hold of Brian, he gives you the secret location, and you go on camp with Sasquatch. Basically, is what you're saying, right, Brian?
Well,
If he wants you there.
if they like you.
Yeah, if they like you.
So if for me, it would be like traveling half the world.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like 6 hours from Ontario. So I don't know.
A lot of cool stuff.
12 hours.
A lot of cool stuff happens. We walked right through camp one time.
Wow.
They do all kinds of stuff with spirit animals and shape shifting and signs and healing, and it's just like it's too much to talk about. But it's just like, yeah, they let their presence known and they reach everybody that goes there in some way.
Very
A lot
cool.
of fun. Huh? How amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
September is a great time to visit Canada. Just saying, Anne. Stop off at my place and then continue on to Vancouver.
I thought you were going to make it one day, Rhonda.
Yeah, not this year, unfortunately. Yes, one day I will. Surely, I will. It's on my sights, but yeah, coming up, upcoming. Yeah, yeah. I was hoping Teresa could go sometime too, but it's still a little hard for people from the United States to get up. But
yeah. Yeah, we have a dictator as a prime minister, so he doesn't make. I can't say that.
No, it's cold up there. No, it's not cold in Vancouver. Somebody was saying it's cold up there. So no.
Sorry about that.
It's cold up there.
He's a nice guy, just a little bit misinformed. I don't. No, everybody's wonderful. I'm not. Yeah, judgment, right?
Melinda Lane says, I hear you, Brian. I come to Vancouver at least once a year. Rhonda, let's go together. Oh, okay.
That's a great idea, Melinda.
Yeah, we'll have to do that sometime.
Your road trip.
The shearer is booked up already. I shouldn't have gone to Yukon, but it was beautiful. Yeah, Lisa, it's not cold in southern BC. Not like, and in September, it's beautiful, right? It's gorgeous weather in September.
I'm expecting it to be in the 70s. Might even be in the 80s.
Wow.
Interior, yeah, it's different than up in Ontario. Yeah. Now it's getting cool at night. It's just, and no bugs, right? By that time, there's no bugs.
Shouldn't be too many, no.
No. Yeah. It's much better. So, Brian, we have a few questions to ask you before we wrap up. We have all your links in the information that's connected with this show, if you're interested. But, Anne, did you want to ask him one of those questions?
Yes. I would like to know if you have a favorite crystal and which one is it that you
my God.
with,
That's really, really hard to say, but I don't know. I'll say Moldavite.
Ooh, nice.
Which is this little guy here.
Oh,
it's from off planet, actually. It's from a meteorite.
Oh, right on.
So that connects you to the sorry, I'm hearing screeching. Not sure where that's coming from. Oh, kids outside. Oh, okay, it's you, because I'm trying to figure out nobody else here.
We got pool out. There's a big pool just outside in the kids.
Okay, so it's not the Sasquatch. That's what I was just trying to make sure.
I also like brucite. You know what brucite is?
No.
Yeah.
It's yellow. It's really yellow. It's really strong. I like brucite too.
I'll have to look up that one. That's cool. Brian, how about another question, Anne? You were going to do that. Did you want?
Have you ever encountered or experienced what's it called? Extraterrestrial experiences? Is that the way you would?
Yeah, I would say that. Seen a UFO?
Yes, I have.
Recently? What's your most recent?
One was recent, and one was when I was a teenager. That was probably my first. You want to hear that one?
Sure.
When I was about 19, I came from Ontario. I had been here before in BC, but I came back again. Started a rock and roll band with my friend. And I was sleeping on his mattress down in his basement, and I had just laid down, and I saw a transparent humanoid figure at the foot of my bed, and it was there was no substance to it. It was just the outline,
Wow.
kind of like a chalk outline figure, and it was like fluorescent. It almost looked like white bulbs. I think it was white, outlining its entire shape, but with nothing in the middle. I couldn't see any features. It was just like blank. So it stood there looking at me, and for 5-10 seconds or something, and then I looked to my left, and it was on its hands and knees looking right at me, and then it just disappeared. But like I said, the way I would describe it was a chalk outline,
Wow.
kind of thing, like a crime scene outline.
Oh, yeah.
But the perimeter was glowing.
Very cool. Very
So
cool.
I figured that was some kind of
Had to be.
something like that.
And your recent one?
Well, the recent one, we had like spirit birds, UFOs, and Sasquatch all going on at once. It's going to take about a minute. You want to hear it?
Sure.
Mhm.
So my friend and I stopped at this.
Good story.
All
Tony.
excited.
Yeah.
So we stopped at this display center in the woods that had a metal roof, way deep in the woods, where they had lumber displays or something. And this has happened a few times. All of a sudden, we heard this big rock crash off the roof, like bang. And we're like way in the middle of the woods. There's no people around us anywhere. And we heard that about 6 or 7 of those went on, and we could also hear the Sasquatch walking around beside us, and we could hear them breathing and stuff. And then we had a little rock going over we were facing beside each other, facing the other way. A little rock came marching over top of us and landed on the ground right in front of us, which is just, to me, is just a hello we hear when they toss a little rock.
Yeah. How cool.
And then we saw like a red-tailed hawk that was in a tree watching us, and it flew right over our heads. And this is the spirit bird of my First Nations friend who was with me. And as all this is going on, we looked up into the sky and we saw a UFO, like a saucer disc shape. And it went into a little puffy cloud, the only cloud in the sky, and it never came out. So
Wow.
That's
a whole lot of stuff going on at once, yeah. Which
pretty cool.
tells you that everything's all connected, right?
Yeah.
All this phenomenon has got a common connection, kind of thing.
I think you're absolutely right there, for sure. So, Brian, the last question is the hardest.
The last
So I'm gonna
song.
the last song. The last question is the hardest. I'm giving away the question. Teresa, you want to ask that question before you go? Because I know Teresa may be
Brian,
popping out.
what song is your theme song? Even if it's one that you sing or one from anybody else, what is a song that's kind of basically your theme song or your go-to?
Right now.
Well, I will give you an answer, but I can't answer it. But I will answer it because my favorite songs are constantly evolving,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I like because I am a singer and a songwriter, so
That's right.
I like a lot of different songs. But right now, the one that I'm really liking is one called "Sad Lisa" by Cat Stevens.
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh.
We'll have to look that one up.
That's the one that's kind of touching me right now.
Cool. Cool.
"Sad Lisa," yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
Is it sad?
Writing that down.
Oh, you're looking that up right now?
I'm just writing it down.
She's writing it down so she can look up. Kathy was saying, she was going to type in that they were all connected, Sasquatch, UFOs, and spirits. Well, yeah, I think sometimes spirits are just like.
She's right.
Oh, Lisa
100%
says
right.
she knows that song. I don't know. I'll have to listen to it, find out what it is.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So
Right on.
that's very.
But then
cool.
I'm also a fan of like I love guitar, so I like, like anything with a really good guitar solo in it is also something I like. But I like melodies, like that's how I write, with melodies, lyrics, creativity.
Yeah. I remember
So
listening to
that's
you
why that
sing.
question's so hard to answer, right?
I know it's a hard question for everyone to answer. Not just you, really. I think everybody has a hard time with it. So, because you're right, they all evolve. It changes. Different times of your life, different
Yes.
song.
Yeah, I was on the show in
The
like
spring.
like 9 weeks ago. My song has changed since then.
Really? What is it now?
What is it?
Well, at that time it was, I like electronic because there's so different sounds. It's kind of like extraterrestrial sounds ish. At that point it was spacewalk. Now it's supersonic.
Neat.
I don't know what those. I have no idea what you're talking about.
No.
That's
It's not
awesome.
classical or anything like that.
But I would like to say, I think you have one more question, but if anyone wants to reach out to me, just for advice to how to start their journey, or just questions or anything, I give of myself freely, because it's kind of like what they have me doing. So don't be shy if you want to message me or join one of our groups or my YouTube channel or whatever. Feel free.
Yeah. Nice.
Definitely.
So I have a question.
Company.
And 40 minutes is, we just barely scratched the surface. This is such a deep subject but we cover some cool stuff. What was your question?
I was wondering if there's something you haven't mentioned already, but if there's like one message that the Sasquatch would like for us humans to know, like a core message, like, is there one?
Well, the foundation of the core messages is love. So be heartfelt, heart-centered, and get out of the lies of your head.
That's awesome.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian, for being on our show today. And we enjoy every time you come to visit us again. And Melinda says she's giddy with possibilities. Thank you, Brian. Yay.
Well,
I like
thank you.
I just have one little piece of business before we go, and that's to announce the winner of last week's show share out comment, because sometimes we just take people who comment as well as sharers. And it's Sherry Craig Haugh, Haugh, she's an anniversary sharer and commenter. So I just thought that would be great, and she wins a link to our Egyptian spa meditation. And so we'll send you that link, that private link to you, Sherry.
I have one more thing to say.
Yes, absolutely.
If anybody is reaching out to the Sasquatch, like I said, reach out with your heart, introduce yourself, say I'm open to a relationship. But the one thing is they will not teach you or interact with you beyond your fear level.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They'll only give you what you can take, right? Is that?
Yeah. So if you have fear, then they're not going to go beyond that. So you have to kind of develop trust and get over the fear.
Yeah.
Like with me, for instance, I went out and camped all by myself way out in the middle of the woods, and that was like a test of my mettle and whatever. And they were walking all around me, actually, in predator form. You know, the movie Predator, the transparent, shimmery, watery kind of
thing. I don't want to come with this, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
That was one of the forms that they take. Yeah, I could see them walking all around me. But if I was afraid, they wouldn't have moved beyond that. Wow. So fear, get over your fear. Because they're not monsters.
No. They're just beings. Right.
Well, yeah, we're monsters compared to them, believe me.
Absolutely. No, that's a great truth. Yes, that's true. So people are going to check out your video, your YouTube. So the connections are right again. I said in the podcast and in the description of the video here. And I want to thank the Breakthrough Show Network for hosting us, as well as veryparanormal.com, who hosts our shows as well. So you can go into them and explore their shows. And thank you all for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, Anne and Brian, and you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk with you later.